Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly, and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Okay, next please. How can I help you, young man?
We want to go all in on Nova. We like the sun, we like some tan, and we like some big fat bonuses for management.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that checked and it's gone.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Laughing Stock. How are you today, Dane?
Good. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I made the title "We Are So Back," and if you look in the background here, I found a graph that I think represents the last 2 days at least.
Huge bounce.
Yeah. So I'm very, very positive. I've done 0 trades this week, but I know you have done a few, so we have something to talk about, but we will dig into that a bit later, I think. But first of all, what do you think about Nova?
Solid company.
Yeah, I think they are.
Get in now, at least.
They've been hurt a lot in the past few months, I guess. But I saw some comments. People are still believing in that they can turn it around. So I didn't pull up the fundamentals, but I've done research on them before. But I just think it looks a bit ugly in terms of bankruptcy risk and all that stuff now.
Yeah, this is definitely going to go bankrupt. And I mean, you know, some of these things bounce or something crazy. I'm not trying to ever do that because that's a good way to lose all your money quick. You know, this is the typical kind of thing. I think this is more like a deep value type play where, you know, if you're going to put something in this, take a really small percentage. And if it works, it works, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not looking good. 6 months down 97%.
Yeah, it's ugly. And I also checked the chart. The last earnings really hurt them. Also had a huge drop on that. So yeah, and there were some comments about some bonuses being paid out to management in the same time period, which is a little bit, you know, it doesn't add up. So yeah, I decided
it. The party's over.
Sorry.
I said, you know that feeling you get when the party's over?
Yeah, exactly. And you just have to take what you can and bounce. I thought it qualified for the intro.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
As always, I know we're joking around, but if you don't get that, do not invest in anything we talk about.
No, because we have some new viewers. We saw that we have some new comments and stuff like that, Dane, right?
Yeah, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he was asking on one of the Excel sheet videos, and I don't know if he wants Excel or Google Sheets. He sounded like he wanted to build out the sheets. With that being said, it's obviously easier said than done. So if you're serious about that, we'd be happy to get you started in the right direction, and just know this is a long, grueling process to build all this out. I mean, if you have a history in like coding and computer programming and anything like that, it'll probably actually wouldn't be too hard for you. And if that's true, to be honest, I would probably try and build it in like Python or something and actually like build out like a real program.
Yeah.
But if you are going to use Excel or Sheets, we'd be happy to help you with either one. Just let us know which one you want. And I would highly recommend you join the Discord, because for us to just do it in videos, like I can't like talk back and forth to you. So I don't know where you're at, what you need, what you're thinking. Because just to give you like a basic idea, number one, you got to figure out which one you're going to use. Number two, where you're going to get your data from, because you're going to have to get your data from some kind of provider. There's ones that are more expensive than others. There's ones that are more detailed. So it's kind of up to you. And I would kind of search around first. I use Share Radar. Johnny uses Y Sheets, correct? Still?
Yeah, I just renew my
Yeah.
subscription
So
with them now, and there are different options out there, and with to different price, but we don't have the same data, right? We've been very open about that. We are very similar, but we have a little bit of different numbers all the time. So that's a consequence of choosing one or the other, you know. But yeah, you need to decide on a lot of things, I think, before, and have an idea of what you want with it, because it's an entire system. We have so many sheets that are connected, right?
right.
That we have
So
never even showed on the stream, I think.
yeah, I mean, I might have glazed over them at some point, but yeah, there's a bunch of sheets in the background that are making things run and that it pulls information from. And Excel and Google Sheets are great, but you have to have all that data get organized in such a way, and you have to make all the formulas to pull everything. So, and that's the other thing too, is you're going to need a kind of a strong background in learning how to use Google Sheets and or Excel. So those are all things to think about. And if you're serious about it, like I said, I highly recommend you join the Discord, because that way you can kind of like communicate with us nonstop, and we could keep answering your questions. And
Yeah,
that way, if you have like some visual things you want to see, we could actually like make like a more specific video to show you those different parts to help
yeah,
break it down for you on how to do it. And then
yeah.
that way it would save you a ton of time.
We are more than happy to help with some of the things there, but it's important, I think, to come with an idea first of what exactly you want, and we can take it from there, I think.
Right.
And by the way, us helping is just like us telling what we have done. It's not necessary, and that's one part why I also am. There's a lot of reasons that I don't want to share my sheets, but one of them is I can't be responsible for that. I have not make any mistakes, you know. I probably have, but for my personal use, I will think that I will notice mistakes when they appear, and think twice about, oh, is this correct, or is this have I done some wrong calculations, something like that, you know. So
Right.
even if I believe that I've done things right, it could be completely wrong. I have no background in finance or building sheets at all. So this is on an amateur level, you know. It's important, I think, to have an idea and to have an understanding of what you want to achieve with having the sheets, and what you want to pull in and stuff like that too. And but both of our sheets and our systems are 100% based on Roaring Kitty's sheets, and then we have made adjustments and tweaked them to what we have been looking at, you know. And I think I spent at least 1 year, and that's the truth. It was at least 1 year to make a bad version of mine, and I think I spent another year to tweak and adjust it to the version I have today, which I feel it's a good version for me, at least. But I'm sure I'm going to update it in the future as well. So it's a non-stop process, you know. It will never end, I think.
Yeah, just between, figuring out errors and just trying to be more efficient so things run smooth. It's been a long process. I would say, yeah, to get the base of it up took around a year. And then there's always follow-up and just how you change things. And then you realize like certain things don't help you like you'd want it to. And it kind of starts to become your own, like we said, it was a copy of RKs, or as close as we could get. And then from there, it's What parts of it do you use a lot, and then once you've done it for a while, it all makes sense. But that's the other thing too. Like if I hand it to you, number one, all my stuff is connected to me, so you'd have to like recode a bunch of things because your data is going to come in differently than mine would. And on top of that, there's like errors and stuff that I know how to fix. Like if something goes wrong and something crashes or something's not working, like I know exactly what to do to go in there to fix it.
How many
Also,
times then have we not experienced some error just before our stream, and we have to like fix it straight away there and then?
initially all the time.
Yeah.
I would say it's been a long time now because I've gotten it where I really don't have a crash or anything. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes Excel just crashes just because it's like, it's just a stupid glitch and like I'm just changing something and it causes it to crash. But other than that, I haven't had any problems really. The only annoying thing sometimes is the way my data comes in. If one of the website changes the way like a table's
Yeah.
organized, all of a sudden I'll get like all these things messed up and I'll be like, oh, they changed the table. So I have to go back through and manually change how it pulls the data from there, which there's nothing I can really do about that. But other than that, though, one thing I would like to update too, though, is I notice when I bring up my charts from my dashboard and stuff, they're all old ways I used to look at things. Like the
Yeah,
chart
same here.
design is older, and now I use like moving averages and stuff like that. So I would like to go through and update all of that to be the correct, which actually isn't a big change because all I have to do is just change one of the hyperlinks, and all my hyperlinks are shared from the same cell, so it's not like a big deal to change just that cell, which
Yeah.
it's more just me doing it. I just, sometimes I
Yeah.
just don't do it.
And we have
But
switched the method a bit, so well, in swing trading, I'm using the sheets way less, but I'm still using them, and I'm still using them to keep an eye out on some deep value plays. But I'm not doing it so much on the stream anymore. But it's definitely less sheets involved in my swing trading strategy.
yeah, well, one of the things that I've changed too is, I used to use like the daily mover section and stuff a lot when I was screening for stuff. But the difference now is like on stock charts, I just have a couple screeners built.
Yeah.
And I can kind of peer through those charts and stuff and save myself a ton of time. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to have like a quick snapshot of the fundamentals and stuff like that. But to be honest, once I pull it up, I'll do a quick check of that stuff anyways, more on companies I'm going to buy in anyways, not just all of them. But the big difference between swing trading and value or deep value is in value and deep value, you're buying before anything occurs. Like you're usually buying kind of on the way down or at some kind of base. And when you're doing swing trading, it's right after it's breaking out or starting to break out. So you've kind of already identified those. So it's just a different perspective of where you're looking to get in on these things.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I stand behind the advice to join the Discord. By the way, I think I fixed the I think I fixed the link, Dane. I showed you how to fix it, right?
Yes. Yeah, I saw you have to actually select the correct one.
So that was that took me weeks to figure that out. So I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, just join the Discord and send us a message. We have our names in there, Redneck Johnny and Ranger Dane, and you can send a private message or whatever, and we will try to help as best as we can, at least. We have done that in the past. I helped a guy with a calculator on Twitter not too long ago. So that's something we do,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, other than that, we used to use the Reddit page. What was the Reddit page that was like something about building
It's
arcade
called
sheets?
RKSP or something.
Yeah. So I mean that is one other spot you can go, but
Yeah.
I just haven't been on there in a long time, and
I think it
it would
died
be
out a
easier.
bit.
What'd you say?
No, I think it died out a little bit.
Yeah, there was all that interest, and then I think at this point, I mean, everyone knows that RK is, very well off, and
Yeah.
he's not doing this.
I doubt he also uses sheets anymore.
Yeah, maybe once in a while, just for shits and giggles, but
Yeah.
yeah, at this point, I mean, there's really not much benefit to him even
Yeah.
using them.
No, because you can have the best one in the world, I think, and it will still show inaccuracies and stuff like that. So.
Right.
And also, I think you and I, we both have very good computers, right? Because that's an important point, I think, to make the sheets run smooth, because it's pretty heavy on the computer.
Yeah, it can be. And a big difference between yours and mine is Google Sheets is online versus Excel being like a program that I have on my computer. So
Yeah.
there's benefits to both ways, and negatives as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I built my computer. So my computer's, I mean, it's older now, but it was kind of future proofed when I built it. So it's,
Yeah.
it can handle, it can handle anything. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get the game much anymore, but and I just use 2K for my screen size just because I just don't need 4K. It's like I don't need that big of a screen. So I just game at 2K and I can run anything at that I'm
Yeah.
pretty ultra settings usually. So just to give you an idea of like what my computer's like, if you know anything about computers,
Yeah.
if that means anything to you.
Yeah. No, because I started out on a bad laptop and it just quickly didn't work.
But even, I mean, I'm on my laptop right now, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
And I forgot to bring my other better camera. I gotta start remembering to bring that too when I travel. But what do you call it? Even on the laptop, it runs fine. I don't know if I wouldn't want to build it on this, but it runs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
And the
All
building's
right,
more
so
just because it's not having a bunch of screens and a mouse and everything's kind of a pain.
yeah. No, if you don't want to come to the Discord, just continue to send messages, comments in under the videos, and we will try to reply at least. But I think it would be not very efficient to just start to make like tutorials on how to build the sheets when we have so little information about what you want to do and stuff like that. So it's going to be very time consuming.
Yeah, just one last point to bring up about that is, yeah, I mean, at this point, if I was to rebuild the sheets, there would be things I'd keep and there'd be things I wouldn't keep because I just don't use them like I was, thinking I would. So instead of going through the whole trouble of doing it. So the other thing too is, if you watch some of our earlier videos where we show you the different parts, it'll give you an idea of like, what would you like in yours? And then if you can hone it down to just like a couple of the main ones, I mean, maybe you want all of it, because it doesn't hurt to have it all. But if you don't, you can save yourself a ton of time by not building out a bunch of stuff that you might not use. And then as you get going and you do use these things, then you can figure out like if you want to keep doing that or not.
Yeah. All right, Dane. I'm gonna move into the charts. What have you done? What have you done this week?
Not too much. I have taken 4 positions this week.
Yeah.
One of them I got very lucky on. You want to pull SPHL up?
Yeah, SPHL. Oh, I forgot. We were supposed to do this one on the intro, right?
Yeah, it's all good. It worked. It worked well in my favor that it didn't fall apart.
Yeah.
Here.
What happened here?
I have no idea. So number one, this is an IPO, obviously, and on the day where you see your yellow candle there, or no, it
This
was the
one?
red candle. The yellow candle was the day before, and on that day where it was the red candle, I got in like perfectly at the breakout point. And at one point, I was up like 15%. So I moved my stop loss up to a 6% gain, which right now my stop loss has been at 2%. So it's a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. And I was like happy that I had put it there. And then I looked back like an hour later and someone pulled the rug out on this company. This is definitely a scam, or whatever was going on here. And the price just plummeted. It was down. It was up 15% that day, and by the end of the day, it was down almost 90. It was down like 80% or something crazy. So it just goes to show you one huge benefit of swing trading or any kind of trading if you're good is that stop loss, because that I saved myself. And to be honest, my stop loss didn't even actually trigger because it dropped so fast, so violently, I probably got like only 2 or 3% because by the time it actually allowed me to sell, it was that much lower than where I put my sell point in. So I
Yeah.
didn't actually even get that full stop loss. So luckily, I didn't take in 90% drop in the past 2 days.
Yeah, because that's and most of it came in that day you were in.
Yes. So the one random day, I just it looked good to me, and it wasn't like it was a fundamental play; it was purely technical.
Yeah.
And when I got in, it had pulled back to like I don't know, I think it was up like 9 or 10%, and that's right at about this as much as I'll go into something that's like just before I feel like it's gone too far and I'm chasing. And it just I got very lucky and it worked out. But that's why you have to be really strict with the rules because if I was just a second late or I wasn't number one, if I had just not I always put my stop loss in at 2%. So the most I could have lost was maybe like 3 or 4 because like I said, it did drop really violently. But at the same time, it just goes to show you that if you do follow your rules correctly, even on a day like that, I can make money, which is kind of
Yeah,
wild.
and that's, you can say, okay, it was a bit lucky, but initially you follow the rules, and the setup looked good, and it was for a long time up like 22% to 30%. So
Yeah,
I mean,
like I said, at one point I got in at 10 and I was up 15. I remember looking, so I was up 25% at least at some point in the day.
Even there, if you wanted, you could have taken everything out again, because that happened also quick. And I remember,
and I had considered it because of the way, because the way these markets have been, I was thinking of getting out early, and then I was like, you know what, like, because I think it was an up day in the markets, so we're just trying to feel out things. We I think Friday it looked like the first real buying day we've had since this drop. I know, just on the macro side, the government just passed, at least in the States, the government just passed the budget. So they're not going to close or anything like that. Everything's going to keep running. All the money's going to keep flowing. So, that's a big thing for markets because that just kind of bottlenecks all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Inflation came in low or cooling, I should say. So there's been some small positive gains in this correction. So it makes you start to think that the news isn't necessarily as ugly as like some people I feel like are making it out to be. But we'll see. The markets are the ones that that's why I say I follow the chart.
Yeah.
But other than SPHL, the other winner I had this week was ORLA, which I think I saw you just pulled up the ticker for a sec. And I actually, it kept going up. ORLA's like one of the ones that actually worked for me.
Yeah, because you bought on Tuesday as well on that one.
Yeah, ORLA was just a typical swing trade. It worked out good for me.
Yeah.
And it's kept going up. I didn't capture, like I said, the last day, which would have been good because it was another 5 or 6%, I think, up yesterday.
Yeah.
But it just is what it is. I'm not trying to get crazy with anything. I ended up the week up about just shy of 0.5%. I was up this week. Yeah. So it kind of erases last week and the week before, which I'll take. I think year to date I'm still up 3%. So
yeah.
In a pretty ugly environment, I'll take anything that's not negative.
And ORLA, they have earnings in 3 days, it says here, and the market cap now is closing in on 3 billion. So there's also some things that even if it's up the day after you sold, you should probably, it's the safest thing to take the gain here, I think.
Yeah, if this was a different environment, maybe if everything was like moving and this looked good, I might maybe hold for another day or two. But
yeah,
that's not what I'm trying to do. And to be honest, I probably shouldn't be trading right now. I should probably still be waiting.
Yeah, that's what I have done. I haven't. I was serious. I haven't taken any trades this week, and I took one last week. So in 2 weeks now, I won't trade, and I'm actually pretty happy with it because I was looking at ORLA as well, and I didn't take it the day you took it because of the low volume. And how many times have we talked about now in our WhatsApp that things just doesn't have volume right now,
Yeah, I
And
was looking at that volume in the bullish idea that I'm thinking like, okay, it looks like it's kind of consolidated and it's starting to push up, so I'm okay with it having low volume.
yeah,
And everything kind of has low volume right now. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's a few names that have like millions and millions of shares moving, and like, that's just because there's like some big news that came out, or it's just like a straight momentum day trade type stock.
Yeah,
But we're not really trying to catch those just because. I'm not saying you can't make good money doing that, but those are really honestly just luck. I mean, that's not,
yeah. But then
you can
Orla
try and
held
hop on
up.
those things if you can.
It held up pretty nicely the day after, and that ended up being a very tight candle on also low volume, and then you got out on this day. So, yeah, it's one I should have taken, but my thinking was also before the past week, I did take stuff like this a lot, and it just ended up being stopped out eventually. So I have just been a bit careful now, and haven't really taken these opportunities, even though I agree this looks good in a different environment. I would jump in on it just to be in it. Yeah, but right now that was my thinking. What else have you done?
There's definitely a name or two I got stopped out of. So I guess I did take more than 4 trades. I probably took like, maybe it was only one trade I got stopped out of. There was definitely one I can't remember which one it was, but I got stopped out.
Yeah,
And then yesterday I took XERS and ZLAB.
yeah,
Which they kind of broke even. I mean, I'm actually down on both of them, just like a one's down 0.5%, the other one's down 1% from where I got in. So I don't know if they'll work out, but as always, the stop loss is at 2%. So I mean, hopefully it doesn't like crash over the weekend, but
what was the
we'll
ticker?
see. I mean, XERS.
Yeah, I saw this one in the screens. Yeah, bio.
And I was annoyed. I wanted to get into this one before this last bump, and because it looked good, and I just didn't take it, or either that, or I tried to put in a buy order and it didn't take it.
Yeah,
But this one to me looked like it was breaking out pretty clearly, so I liked this one.
yeah,
And then
good.
the other one's ZLAB.
ZLAB, yeah.
They're both biotech, pharmaceutical.
Yeah, I've
It's not.
seen a lot of them has moved. And this one has some tight candles on low volume also, so yeah, could be good move.
So just typical moves. And as like I said, it's a tight market. I'm not expecting big returns on anything right now. And also too, like like I've said, I'm taking half size positions from what I normally did. My stop
Yeah,
loss is even tighter than it normally is. So I understand that this environment is much more difficult. Um, and I won't change those rules back to the older rules until I start to see things working out a little bit more
yeah.
consistently.
So you have definitely made adjustments to the environment, even though you are trading actively in it. And we are not shorting, right? So the only thing we are doing is the breakout.
Yeah, and if the account was bigger, which it may be in I don't know, a year or two,
Yeah,
as the account does start to balloon up, if everything works out, obviously. I would like to start shorting because I honestly, I always did like to short just because of the exact opposite effect. Your stop loss can go to infinite, but at the same time, if you're using a stop loss, like you can just set that and you don't have to worry about it. I was always looking at it from a value perspective, where you think of things as like a margin of safety, and like it should be this value,
yeah,
but when you're trading, it doesn't really matter. And to be honest, I would adapt all the stop loss stuff like I did in my value play with USEG now, and that turned out to be the right decision because that continued
yeah,
to go way down. I think it's down. I think it's like a $1.30 right now.
yeah,
It's saved me in every time now. So I will always use stop losses now. It's such an easier way to do it and cap your risk.
yeah. And you said, just to finish on USEG, you said they missed a bit on their earnings. It wasn't even a bit; it was a lot actually. But that the forward guidance were pretty promising, anyways.
Yeah, look at the what the analysts are saying, because this is kind of an interesting play still to me, because once again they're transitioning from traditional oil and gas to a helium play,
Yeah,
and they've bought a bunch of new land. They're kind of winding down slowly their operations in gas and oil. So yes, the earnings and stuff don't look good when you just look at the numbers, but if you understand what the company's doing and you listen to them, they're pivoting the whole company. So it's not, this is a helium play. And if they can get those drills up and running, which they said they should have two drills up, I think in June now. Um, and by the end of the year, they think they have a clean balance sheet, they have no debt. So in my mind, it's still um, uh, a good play here. It's just it's going to take a second for it to kind of bounce around. And this dropped pretty heavily on that news, and then the very next day it was right back up.
yeah,
So it kind of gives me an idea that I think most people now are starting to price in the helium play. And I don't think this is going to take off anytime soon. I think once we see when those drills get installed, you know, mid year, and what do you call it? We could maybe get some numbers from them and see how these things can perform. Then you'll see this stock price either really take off or hold there.
yeah,
But currently, that's the one deep value play I'm kind of watching. Um, now that you pull up Open Insider, I saw Smith hasn't been taking anything since the end of February. Which, to be honest, I don't blame him. The whole market's kind of down, so if he's gonna pause until and kind of see where everything lands,
yeah.
I don't blame him.
No, no,
But
I agree.
they're doing share buybacks. I mean, there's a lot of, the typical, all the things I would look for when I was doing deep value, clean balance sheet. They have uh, something that most of the market's not appreciating, which is the pivot into helium. And also a higher yielding revenue source.
Yeah,
So there's a bunch of things it has going for it. From what I listen to in management, I like them. And we got insider buying here. I mean, these are all, staples, I feel like, of value.
yeah. I just tried to Google that guy's name. Do you know anything about him other than he is the CEO?
No, just from what I've heard on the conference call and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's definitely interesting still, this one, and this is the one we got. So we were in this day, right? Tuesday, 21st of January.
Oh, and yeah, USEG, we caught that gigantic candle that you see on
Yeah.
there. So that was a perfect. It really became a day trade because it pulled back. But
Yeah,
you and I,
they,
we moved our stop loss off pretty steadily and did pretty well on that one.
yeah. So that was a
So
swing trade that potentially leads to a deep value play.
yeah, it was it just caught my eye on the company, and then there was the other candle there, and I tried playing it on that day and got stopped out. So
Yeah,
that's when I kind of was like, okay, just chill on this for a little bit, because
yeah,
I want to see this one kind of burn off for a little bit, and
yeah,
then we'll see. I mean, who knows? And now, I look at it now, and if you give this another year out from where this is, and it can start to push back up these numbers back to $3 or $4. I
yeah,
think the analyst who's following the company says that he puts it at 350. So
yeah,
350 from here is pretty good. I mean, that's almost a triple.
yeah, for
So
sure. I can see. You are talking about the guy on Seeking Alpha, right?
no, there was someone else who had posted there's like an
Oh, okay.
actual analyst following the company,
Okay.
or either that or it's another big like one of the ones that put out what they think stuff's worth.
Yeah.
If you go into the comments on one, I don't remember if it's here, if it was on like X or something like that. That's where someone said that someone rated it that it was worth 350.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
well below that, obviously. And like I said, it's a clean balance sheet.
Yeah, it's clean balance sheet. And if you look at the chart again here, it seems like around 130 could be like a base,
Yeah, I mean, it's ever since that first move up that you see, where was that? It's like start of October. It's kind of trended up there, and it's kind of held at that base for a long time
Yeah. Yeah.
now.
All right. I just wanted to go to the dashboard because we haven't showed it in this. Okay, now it broke. We haven't showed it in the stream for a while, I think. but I'm not gonna do it now because it broke. So I was just gonna show you the gold chart, because gold looks pretty good right now. It has been
Yeah,
for a
just
while,
hit
I guess.
3,000.
And the reason why is SSRM showed up in my scans again. And you know, that's a longer term play for me, but I think it looks good again here on a swing trading strategy too.
Yeah, that was I think that was one of the ones I got stopped out on.
Okay, yeah,
I tried taking it on one of the days. I don't remember what it was, but it pulled back.
yeah. I saw value commented on SSRM M2 in the Discord, and you know, this has showed up in the screens a few times in the last month or so, and actually has been performing pretty good in a bad period now. But I'm a bit hesitant to do a swing trading on it because I have my initial position, and I'm happy where I stand. So, you know, there was some upgrade on it. I saw from 9 to 10, which isn't a big upgrade, and it's trading above 10 now. So I'm not sure about how much you should read into. In general, though, those upgrades and stuff, it doesn't mean much, right? But they do move the price a bit, right?
Yeah. Well, there's kind of the old joke that, you know, once it gets to the stock price, then the analyst just bumps up his number.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see.
So we'll
But
see.
no, I like SSRM, and again, you know, if you follow the stream, maybe this is a bit boring to hear us say the same thing every time, but we know we have some new people also coming in, you know, so I just want to say again that my thesis here has always been to hear about the updates in Turkey. They had a big accident there, and so far it's some promising news. At least it's leaning towards positive news that they will get the mine up and running again over there. So I'm gonna wait till that happens, and if it doesn't happen, I'm prepared that the stock will go down a bit again. But this is a double for me so far, so I have a little bit of room to play with also, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, at this point, still, if this looks like it's going to break out, I'll probably still take it here because I still think
Yeah.
this one could pump a little bit higher. But we'll see.
Yeah.
It is starting to get back to where I'm picturing it. I could, like I said, I can picture this get up to 15 easy.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
We'll just have to wait and see. This would be a good one, as you know, like you said, it showed a lot of strength even in the past like 2-3 weeks where the rest of the market has been crashing. So
Yeah.
that looks good.
Yeah. Max is in the chat, Dane, saying hi to us. Bye, Max.
Yeah, Max took the double on it.
Oh,
Good for you, man.
nice. Good stuff, Max. You have done the same as me almost then, and happy to see you back, Max. You haven't been here for a while, so good to see you back here. I think we can go through. I have a little bit of a watch list. It's not a long list today, but the other one was MP that I have on here that I was actually tracking pretty closely, and decided yesterday that I'm just gonna leave it because it didn't move until midday, I think, and then it went up 10%. So probably a bit too late on this right now.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that one.
Yeah, it's a bit high market cap though, 4 billion. So yeah.
Yeah, it's probably just outside of where I'm usually looking, but
yeah. But I thought the setup here was good, but look at the volume. It's not a tremendous amount of volume. You know, I was a bit hesitant. Another one who has been breaking down a little bit now is Herbalife. Herbalife looked better in the beginning of the week and last week, but I think now it's starting to break down again. And they initially went up a lot on some good earnings here, and that people are starting to think they have a good business model again. There's been a lot of controversy about in Herbalife, I know, but just on a purely setup, it looked good around here, you know, 5th of March is where I think I added it to the watch list.
Yeah, it just looks to me like a little bit of a cup and handle there. So if it can push out somewhere here, but
Yeah.
it definitely needs like another. It could move higher. I mean, if it broke out from here, I'd be interested in checking it. But
Yeah.
it also has that resistance around, what is that, 12?
Oh, back here.
So
Yeah.
yeah, from that last kind of base that was formed there. So
Yeah.
it's probably going to struggle to get past that point. But either way,
But some good volume came in here on the earnings, so yeah, a lot of people bought here. So I think I'm gonna keep it on the watch list for now.
you just point out Max is saying that he does watch the videos regularly. So thank you for continuing to
Oh,
tune in.
nice, Max.
We always appreciate it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we know the timing now is it's depending on where you live and stuff, it can be off for you. So we get it that not a lot of people are probably catching this live.
Yeah. All good. And then Orla, we talked about him, Orla already. They have earnings soon. Seems to just continue up.
Yeah, I'm just looking through some of your list. What do you think about some of the quantum names? They look pretty strong.
Yeah, this one was the one I have right in TradingView. I have organized previously. I added a bunch of names, and this is also like a screen that I usually look at. And this time I just looked at the setup and stuff that has moved a lot. So I found the QBTS there. This didn't show up in my scans. But right now I think, what do you think, Dane, here, QBTS?
Yeah, I mean it's if it can have another strong day. What did that do after hours?
I'm not sure.
That was down another. It was down like almost 2, but I mean, being up 47%, being down 2% doesn't really mean much.
No, and from the start here, this is already a 122% move, you know, in 4 days.
Yeah, and I was talking a little bit with my brother, who is a physics guy, and the one thing that I really see probably benefiting in terms of quantum is AI specifically, because with quantum computing, the idea is that you could run, it's essentially just a different process. Instead of having to process things one by one, it could solve, kind of complicated questions extremely fast, because it's going to attempt to figure out all possibilities and come up with the most correct answer probabilistically. So I do think in terms of speeding AI up and all these things, they're all kind of coming together. So I do think that this next field is probably the next big tech group that's going to really change kind of everything that we're used to in the world.
Yeah.
I do think, kind of how you look back, like right before we had, Apple phones and stuff, and where the phone industry came from, and even before that, the whole internet boom. I do think that this is the next big step for tech. So these are all interesting names that, in the potential for them is kind of all unlimited.
Yeah. And they missed on the earnings, but the reason this is so much up is this right here. They said like the reason for the stock surge came the day before earnings, as D-Wave Quantum announced that it had achieved quantum supremacy versus traditional computers. So it's like maybe they are leading the way right now a little bit. So yeah. Called
Yeah,
an
I'm actually
achievement the holy grail for quantum computing. So it is big news.
probably related to materials discovered in 20 minutes. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So, specifically what they're saying is with its annealing chip, it solved a magnetics equation problem that they couldn't solve with a regular computer, because even the most powerful supercomputers couldn't do it. It would take millions of years to solve that problem. Well, a quantum computer, because it can check all possibilities instantaneously and give you the best answer, basically like eliminates the need to like kind of brute forcefully do it like an old computer. It's funny to say, I guess they call it classical computers now. So the
Yeah.
computers like we're using right now, we're going to be old essentially at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's we're like just on the tip of like all the things that these are going to be able to do, and how they're going to change and solve questions that we've had for a long time.
Yeah. But very interesting to see where this goes on Monday, I think. And if you see it, look at the volume, it's just climbing also on very high volume yesterday.
Yeah,
But it didn't break
I'll be
out,
watching
so
pre-market for sure.
sorry.
I said I'll be watching it pre-market for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is probably the most interesting on my watch list. I had ARIS, which also broke down a little bit. VSTM, biotech. They are very similar. I think they have been breaking down a bit. MQ, I'm a bit hesitant because you know, in November it traded at 6, so it has some overhang.
Gotcha.
ACMR. This one I actually almost took yesterday, but again I didn't because of the low. It's not low volume, but it's like I wanted more, and I just didn't take it. What do you think about ACMR, Dane?
It looks good right there.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about here in March, approximately 1 year ago. It went up to 34. Does that bother you here?
No, I mean, it might just take a little bit to push through it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing too, is like, you know, I like to look at 52-week highs because if it can break from that point, there's a good chance there's no resistance. And
Yeah.
that's where you can see some of these names push. But it just depends on how strong the move is and what kind of news or momentum's backing it.
And so far, it's almost a double from when the move kind of started, and you can see it bounces off this 20-day moving average pretty regularly and consistently, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Maybe
Yeah,
it was
I
a
actually got to
mistake
do
to
what
not
we're
take
doing
it.
right now is re-go through my watch list because that's kind of what you know, Minervini and all those guys say is like this is the time that when the markets are down like this, you really should get a list of names that you're interested in that are showing strength during these markets because
Yeah.
those are the names that if they do break out could really break out when the market turns around.
Yeah, and then you're gonna outperform like crazy because everything else is dropping, unless you're shorting, of course.
And I did see that he had said he'd covered half of his short position, so even he's kind of seeing that we may be approaching some kind of base.
Yeah, we saw some hints of people that we follow that were saying the same thing this week, right? Stockby also said something about he used this
Yeah, that's
indicator
right.
that I have referenced a bit, but yeah, you just have to wait and see. Or I mean, the video is called "We Are So Back," so you heard it here first.
Yeah, we're calling it. Monday, the market's going to go up 5%.
I added Porch again, Dane, to my watch list. This
Yeah, that
needs
name's
another
just showing a lot
breakout.
of strength.
Huh?
I said that name is just showing strength constantly.
Yeah, but in terms of a setup, it needs to, you know, get a not big day, I think, with some volume. But it's just interesting to keep an eye on it, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it has like another like, I don't know, couple weeks. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see what it can do
Yeah.
here. But you know, the moving averages are starting to catch up.
Yeah.
There was that huge buy at the end of February.
Yeah. That was on earnings. They crushed the EPS estimates.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I added Flowtech, a familiar name for us, FTK.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Flowtech in a second.
Yeah.
I actually always liked them from a fundamental perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I have done the same. And if you look at the quarter here, at least according to TradingView, they have delivered on each single quarter for a long time now. And the volume is picking up a bit, and I just want to see it break out properly and continue this uptrend. But I think Flowtech will be also one that I'm going to be very interesting to see the coming week to see what it does.
Yeah, for sure.
We know already that there's a fundamental, at least they are not crap, last time I checked.
Yeah, I'd have to pull the numbers back up, but
Yeah.
well, while you're talking, I'll pull this into my fundamental page and to see what's going on.
Yeah, nice. I also added the RMNI, Rimini Street. I think the chart is now in a little bit of a new territory since 2023. So it's been a long time. And yeah, another one with some positive earnings, and it's just seems like it consolidating a bit here and waiting for a bounce up.
Yeah, it's these. I feel like a lot of these tech names are they're so strong.
Yeah. What I have seen in the screens this week and last week, I think it's a lot of health technology companies, a lot of biotechs, and some of the tech companies that keeps showing up. Have you seen the same?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of the same names that are kind of holding in there as things get.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in just looking at the fundamentals quickly on Flowtech while we're talking here, they offered quite a bit of shares. It looks like they went from 13 million shares to about 30 million shares in 2023. But what they did is they paid all their debt off essentially. So they are basically running on no debt right now. So they have a pretty clean balance sheet. They don't have a ton of cash on hand, and they are burning through cash. So they do need the they need to start getting some positive quarters. The last quarter they did have positive cash flow from operations.
Yeah.
And actually they had positive earnings too. The past two years so far, in a trailing 12 months. So it is improving. So they're in a much better spot with a clean balance sheet now.
Yeah. So and I see some of the guidance are also, you know.
Did you see what Max just said?
No, let me see.
Said Europe stocks could also turn if German parliament doesn't vote for the 1K billion debt for infrastructure and defense. It will be next year or next week. He said infrastructure and defense stocks are raising like hell.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
to be fair, they a lot of people have made some money on you know, military companies and stuff that creates weapon. At least in my country too, I know one company has gone up a lot in price. So now there's definitely things happening in Europe too. Do you trade a lot of European stocks, Max? You probably do then, because I'm just switched my focus to USA pretty much more or less. But I am constantly trying to figure out how to do the same in the Scandinavian market, but I haven't found the proper resources to do what I'm doing now. So it's a bit annoying, but because there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, and I mean, just in terms of global politics, if the U.S. is going to start pulling back the amount of military support that they're going to be sending around the world, obviously other countries are going to have to step up. So,
Yeah.
it would make I'm not arguing politically whether what's right or wrong. I'm just saying that it seems like Europe's going to have to increase their military budgets.
Yeah. We should probably do it anyways, right?
In terms of NATO being a powerful alliance, the more everyone's kind of putting in their own piece to it, the stronger that'll be.
What I heard about, a bit sidetracked now, but I heard about NATO and the defense, right? Everyone has their own system, so there's a strong system altogether, but the weakness is that everyone has system that doesn't communicate with each other. It's a big problem.
Yeah, obviously it's not organized.
Yeah.
I think maybe the one thing saving is it doesn't seem like there's like a massive threat anywhere. In terms of like I guess you could argue like China or there's so many people who like kind of warmonger about Russia, but I mean Russia, no offense, has been struggling just to beat Ukraine. So I don't
Yeah.
think they could really do much on a bigger level. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not, but either way, long story short, I could see a lot of the military names in Europe doing pretty well.
Yeah. And there's been an election in Germany as well. So there's, if you just go back a month, there was a bit more uncertainty and stuff like that. We have some answers now, so things are about to stabilize. You see, there's maybe a deal on what do you say in English when you take a pause from the war, like a peace offering.
Oh, ceasefire.
Ceasefire, which I saw Russia came with some demands back. Let's see where that takes us, but maybe we're moving past a little bit a couple of these uncertainties that have been hanging over the market for some time now. I hope we
Yeah, I
will, and
mean,
I
I,
hope.
I would like to be optimistic and think that it's going to create a longer term ceasefire, but it's that's kind of like reaching, I think, in my mind.
It's pretty locked. Yeah,
But
but
you got to start somewhere, no matter how you look at it. So I do see that side of the argument too.
yeah, and maybe things starts to change a little bit if I don't think anyone is but completely updated on that mineral deals that Trump wants in Ukraine. If he gets it, maybe they start to you start to see a little bit of a different tune towards getting the war to an end on better terms or whatever. I have no idea, but we just have to wait and see where things lands. And my point is that things are happening, and hopefully we can get some answers soon.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the next few weeks will probably be telling to see where everything heads.
Yeah. I see.
Max is.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
No, I was gonna say I saw some more comments.
Yeah, Max is just saying, he's like, I'm not settled with my process. I focus on too much different styles. Yeah, we
Yeah.
feel you. He said value, trend, option selling, but I see more and more macro and fundamental stuff playing a major role on the breakout story. The big problem could be in Germany that the big debt next week doesn't come. You need 2/3 majority in parliament, and all stocks
Okay.
anticipate that it will come. So yes,
Yeah.
I see what he's saying. So if it doesn't work out, obviously that would be
Then it's gonna be a shock. Yeah.
yeah, it'd be a big problem if people
Yeah.
are betting on it happening.
Yeah.
But it's even like the States. Like it's kind of funny. I saw someone post a picture yesterday, and it was like Chuck Schumer, who's a big Democrat here in the States, and Trump, and they were basically like in the picture, almost like hugging and agreeing that they're happy they got this deal to go through. And it's funny because you see some of these politicians in the States. Thomas Massey, he always says that, like, he always calls them out and just says it's political theater. He's like, these guys argue all the time on camera, and then he's like, and you get them in a room and they're like best friends. And it makes you wonder, like in the background, how separate are these people? Are they, is a lot of distractions from, just to make sure and stuff's getting passed? I don't know, but
Yeah.
a lot of people were like, there's no way it's going to get signed. And then all of a sudden a day later it gets signed and everyone's like, yep, it's all good. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, and but what we saw this week though is like the last 2 days were up, and it was a bit of a joke that we are back, of course. But the bottom line is we just have to wait and see, right? We have seen. We talked about it, you and I, Dane, before the stream, that we got almost between 200 and 300 names in the scans now. So
Yeah.
I guess that's a bit meaningful, at least.
Yeah, I mean it's huge in terms of just I start to see stuff that looks a little bit more similar to the better uptrends in some of the markets that I've been in so far.
Yeah.
Since I've been paying attention and like just noticing the amount of numbers, which it's one of like the nice nuance things is the longer you do this kind of thing, you kind of know what a good market is and you kind of know what a bad market is, and overall, I mean the sell off it hasn't been as strong as I think it would be if it was going to be a really devastating pullback.
Yeah, we talked about this off the stream, right? Like if you take the drop approximately that we are in now, it's 30. I'm doing the QQQ now. It's down
Mhm.
13%. And if you compare that to other drops, like the one in the summer was down 15%, and there was no panic back then, right? As far as I can remember, yeah, at least. But of
Well, there was a
course,
little bit because I remember
yeah,
the China names took off right there. Like everyone was like kind of pivoting.
yeah,
But yeah, like you said, these they happen every year. There's the
yeah,
one in 2023, and it's more of a sideways one. But how much did that pull back?
yeah. And yeah, this long one here is like 36%. You know, the COVID one was 30. The point being, like, okay, we don't know where this is gonna bottom out, but there's been a lot of hysteria in this short time, and if it pulls back here, it's not a big problem in my opinion. And of course, you're gonna hear a lot of talk when there has been the changes that has been now, because, like you said also, Dane, there's like a bit of a shock to the American people that things are happening at a speed now. Things are happening quickly, right?
Yeah, because in the States, like you can see it versus I'm sure being in other countries, but um, a long like time joke of like if you're in the States is that the government moves like a slug and stuff. It just takes so long because of all these different like hoops everyone has to hop through to get anything done, and it's like as exciting as it is terrifying when things start moving quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, so just to have some perspective on it, it's like it's so far pretty normal drop. When you get a
Yeah.
correction, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be careful. Um, and it can continue to drop, of course.
Right. Max has also just said that Mitovini and Qualamaji are saying that, this is the best time to find those early movers
Yeah,
coming out of the correction.
yeah,
So actually, probably this weekend, that's probably what I'll try and do is I'll probably try and go back through and do a pretty deep dive into a lot of the names that have showed and continued to show strength and using RSI to kind of help find some of those names that have held up. Um,
yeah. And
and
this is
then
why
and
you
then just
should, even though I said I haven't taken any names in the last 2 weeks, I've still been on the computer every day almost. It's like 1 or 2 days I missed. To add things to the watch list that looks strong and that looks promising. So, you know, and also deleted just to clean up what you are following.
yeah, and pullbacks it leads to opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, that I think I didn't go through this one. WGS. I know a lot of swing traders. They like this type of chart pattern where you have a IPO, you have a big drop, and then you see it comes back with a proper breakout setup.
Yeah, like SPHL.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just another one I'm checking. It's in the health services sector, so not my favorite, but I added it there. Yeah, that was my watch list, Dane. I don't have anything else. I think.
Yeah, the only I'm looking at that one that you were just talking about, and it's just not. It's tough to catch it. I like it better on the weekly. The weekly is a better. If
Yeah.
you look at the weekly versus the daily on that one, it's a little bit easier to see when to get in on those.
Yeah.
The only
And
problem I
almost.
see so far with my strategy using weekly is the weekly's tough because you can get stopped out because you're
Yeah.
holding, I mean, you have to hold it for 3 weeks and your chance of getting stopped out on some of
Yeah.
those and that first initial week's tough.
I found it a
Um,
bit interesting, O'Neill, he uses the weekly, and David Ryan, he didn't. He uses different time frames, and a lot of times daily. And he worked straight underneath O'Neill, so this
yeah,
shows you that you need to adapt.
I think it's good to just double check them. Like I like to check weekly and
Yeah,
monthly
I
on
do
a lot
too.
of things because it
Yeah.
gives you an idea of where we're at.
But yeah,
To be honest,
uh,
if you're moving big chunks of capital, you're moving it over time into some of these names, and you have to be looking at the weekly and monthly.
yeah, yeah, you have to. Yeah, I don't know. Flowtech maybe, Porch, QBTS, SSRM for this coming week. I think those are my most interesting picks. ACMR maybe.
You want to know an interesting swing trade that could break out?
Yeah.
Small company called Berkshire.
What is the ticker for that? BRK?
Yeah, I mean, there's the B shares. B or A, I guess it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
But my point being is, I mean, Berkshire is just killing it.
Yeah.
And
But
they're at all-time high for cash, which is wild. So,
Yeah.
Imagine if they start purchasing somewhere in here on one of these corrections.
Yeah.
Warren could just end up going out with another bang.
1.6 trillion.
It's wild. It's wild that this is a company that doesn't really make anything. I mean, I
Yeah.
know he owns companies, but like at the base of this company, he's just buying things.
I'm putting it on the watch list just to have it there.
But yeah, I think Buffett's about to swing trade this.
You could argue Buffett knows what he's doing.
Yes, you could argue that.
Max is saying the chart of WGS is looking good. It looks like a stair. It is perfect if they continue to deliver strong fundamental data. Yeah, it does look good. I agree with that. It has moved in stairs.
Yeah, the only thing that's tough about WGS is if you look at the last two times it's really kind of broken out. Well, actually, I should say, like the last time it broke out and not the time before that, but just before that one, it breaks out and then pulls back.
Yeah, it did pull back.
So a little tough to catch.
Yeah. And the moving averages right now, they are not in the line that I want, and also they are not in like in a steep enough curve, I think. So it needs a little bit more, but that's why it's on the watch list.
Yeah, and the only other thing is it's getting up there in market cap and stuff, which
Yeah,
I know
I
it can go
agree.
higher. I'm not saying that matters. It just in terms of breakouts, they tend to be smaller returns
Yeah.
as you get to some of those numbers.
But that's our strategy, right? I know other people they talk
So
about.
it all depends on how you look at it.
Yeah. So no, I agree. Dr. Mansi on YouTube, she is talking about this exact chart pattern, and she says she loves it. If I interpret her correctly, she loves when there has been like a IPO and it's falling and then it coming back. And I think Sean Ryan said something the same on Trader Lion, his interview there. But don't hold me accountable for this, because I've seen a lot of people say different things, so I might mix them in my head. But I know this setup has caught some attention before from good swing traders.
Yeah, I mean, at the start of 2024, there was some really good breakouts with this company.
Yeah. What is that? Yeah, it's up. It's up a lot since then.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this was down to around $1, just above.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. No, I agree, Max. It does look good, but it's not. Everyone has their style. I think I need a little bit more here. But it does have those things that you want. They have good earnings. They are in an uptrend. The setup is close.
Yeah, to me, I'm more worried about it being exhaustion, not that it doesn't look good.
Yeah. How many? O'Neill talks about like four moves. Yeah. Or is it only? I'm getting very confused. I know some of the people, they say like, if you move four times up, they're a bit more hesitant to take it on the fifth move, just because it could pull back. It's kind of had its time, so that's also something to consider here.
Yeah, and I would argue there's already been 5 up moves here.
Yeah. And to be fair, since the last, like you said, the last spike up, it has pulled back, So it could be in a downtrend also, depending on where you look. But that's why I say I need a proper breakout on this.
Yeah, I mean, this is a hell of a deep value play, though. Imagine you bought this at $1 and held.
Oh yeah. Yeah, why didn't we?
Uh, I don't know. Why didn't we? Probably because I wasn't looking at healthcare stuff usually. Some of it I
Uh,
was.
you think Buffett has done that, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. I don't think I have any more, Dane.
All right. I mean, I'm probably good to call it here, anyways.
Yeah.
Like I said, my goal for the rest of the weekend and next week is just to obviously keep track of things, see what happens on Monday, how we bounce.
Yeah.
Some of the names on here, I'll definitely keep an eye on in the morning to see if anything can start to push out.
Yeah. No, I
And
agree.
yeah, I'm gonna just go through and just redo my watch list and stuff, just because it's been a little bit, and now after this correction, I really should start to, like you guys are saying, look through, check who's got strength still,
Yeah.
and start be taking those names more seriously because um, I I just don't have a feeling that this is extended.
Yeah. I I hope next week will give us some signs of if this is forming a base or starting to turn. But I'm also prepared that it will continue to drop, of course, because that can happen. But I'm gonna be watching every day, and the last two streams have been a bit shorter, but it's just because of the environment we are in. And so far, I don't think we are interested enough to jump over to a deep values type of streams, because we still see a lot of things are moving in a swing trading with a swing trading lens. And for me personally also, I want to go through all the experiences that I have to do of following a market environment like this, and learn my lessons through stuff that I decide to do or not to do, and just document it and keep track on everything. So yeah, I think for now in this environment, maybe the weekend streams will even be a bit shorter, but it all depends on what the market gives us, right?
Yeah, for sure. And just in terms of deep value versus swing trading right now, the one thing I'm just not doing deep value as much is because it's so time consuming.
Yeah, it
Like, I
is.
loved doing it, but I mean, it was really a time dedication to go through and really look into some of those companies. So swing trading right now is just easier. But I would find if I got back in, or if I get to a point where I could just do this full time, um, I would probably do two portfolios, and one would be straight deep value, and one would be, and I already have like an idea of what my sell and buy rules would be for deep value,
Yeah.
after everything, especially with the technicals here.
Yeah,
So
it would be a bit more clean in terms of that now in the deep value style, I think.
right, so yeah, it's just different, but at the same time, I could see that being really successful.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And then other than that, I don't think I have too much to add.
Yeah. No, I agree. We ended here for the thanks Max for the comments. Thanks. I don't remember his name, but he commented on the spreadsheet video. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for everyone who joins the Discord, and Value has contributed a lot there in the last or since he joined actually. But there's some good discussions going on there, and I did update. I did post another Laughing Stock Wisdom quote, and I'm not gonna take credit for it this time. It was not from me. It was a real example. Do you remember it, Dane?
Yeah, who said that?
I saw it in a Baron's article headline.
Yeah.
But
oh my God. So
it was
dumb.
something like Tesla stock can go to 800 or drop to 200.
Brilliant.
Thank you. So I told Dane we should get him on the channel, but he was a bit scared that we would look very stupid next to this guy. So I think I think maybe we'll leave it. But I did want to.
You never want to be next to the smartest guy in the room.
I did want to have the quote there, but I just want to be transparent. This time it was not my, you know,
Genius.
how do you say it when you are a genius? It wasn't from me. It was from someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can use the word genius just like that. You can just say, you know, it wasn't my genius.
So yeah, a real life example. It's not only the laughing stock who has these quotes, you know. So
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody have a good rest of your weekend. And
we will
to
see
the
you
States,
then.
happy St. Patty's Day on Monday.
Is the market closed then?
No, it's like a big holiday here, but it's not like a national holiday, like shut everything
Okay.
down type thing.
Yeah.
And then other than that, yeah, let's hopefully I would love to see some strength come back into the markets here, and we can actually start to really fully invest again.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Oh, that was the last thing I was going to say is, you know, you were just measuring. What did you say the pullback's been? 15% or 13%?
Yeah, 13.5 on the QQQ.
Yeah, and so far, you know, me being down like not even 3,
Yeah.
that's a good exchange in this kind of market.
Yeah, I agree. Which is another point to love swing trading.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. See you then.
All right, see you, everybody.
Bye bye.